What the heck is up, you guys? It's your boy Ace, aka Animated Heroes, here back with another review. Today we're going to be taking a look at the SH Figuarts My Hero Academia. Great Lord, Explosion, Murderer, Dynamite God, whatever you want to call him, Lord, King, Explosion, Murder, or just Bakugo. Either way, I am super excited for this one. So let's go ahead and get started diving right into the sexy packaging. Now, normally I'm not a big fan of the color white when it comes to a box. I like a whole lot of colors, but I do love the fact that we get a lot of oranges, some blacks in here, things to kind of spice it up a little bit. Of course, you've got the window where you can see the figure looking really sick in the packaging. Then you got the Tamashii Nation's Bandai stuff at the bottom, as well as poses of the figure all along the sides and the back. Once again, creating a very beautiful packaging for the second figure in the My Hero Academia line, but that's not what we're here for. So let's go ahead and bust this guy right out of the packaging so we can see what he's all about. Now, the moment I knew Tamashii Nations was making Bakugo, I had my concerns just because this character has some very interesting design choices, and based on Tamashii Nation's track record with certain lines, I was confused on how well they were going to do. But after I got my hands on Deku, I should have realized they were going to get this right, because man, did this figure come out nicely. Now, I do think they went with the appropriate design, obviously. This is his most recent look in the anime, and this is what most people are raving about right now because the most recent season was crazy. So I'm loving what they did with this guy, man. The hair sculpt looks very, very nice. I love how he comes out of the package with that neutral expression, those red menacing eyes that stare right through you when he's in the heat of battle. A whole lot going on. As you can see, you've got this little peg spot right here that pops out, but we'll talk about that in a separate video. The arms and everything sculpted very nice. He's got the grenades on. Thankfully, these don't pop off nearly as bad as the Revoltech. I love the sculpted wrinkles in the shirt, all throughout the pants, the colors, the blacks, the oranges. The orange almost looks a little red, but I think they just went with a darker tone of orange, which, I mean, that's perfectly fine with me. Everything about this figure just looks so good. The sculpt and detail is all here. This is one, whoever's behind the design and the sculpt work of this figure, kudos to them, man. There's so much I love that they did with this, especially the collar piece, how it's a separate piece, but it also has this little almost like muzzle piece right here attached to it, so it's not going to fall off like the certain other lines that had that issue. But this is just a very, very good looking figure, man. But anyway, let's go ahead and put him back so we can see how tall he stands. Now, when it comes to the height on this figure, to the top of his head, he's right at about 6 inches to the top of the tallest hair on his head, maybe about 6 1/4. So I think this is perfect. I do think he should be a tad bit smaller, but I can't wait to see how tall they make the adult figures in this line, like Aizawa, All Might, and maybe even Hawks. Well, Hawks is a smaller guy, but basically some of the other adults if we get to those characters. Now for the nitty gritty, the articulation. This part I'm a little nervous about, but I haven't heard anything bad, so let's see. He doesn't really look up. His head's on a double ball peg, but because of the hair sculpt and everything, you're really just not going to get him to look up, so that's to be expected. But he does look down very well. He tucks the chin, or basically the whole face, in the collar, which is cool. I love when anime characters do that. He does have really good tilt and turn. Now, this floating piece, you can kind of maneuver around a little bit. I do wish they would have gave him a separate one where it sits a little lower so that you can get more articulation out of him. But anytime you really try to move that around, the head is going to pop off. So be wary of that. Again, it is a separate piece though. Now, when it comes to the arms, you guys see it. No issues there. When it comes to bringing them forward, butterfly joints are super effective, and they do support the weight of the grenades on his arm. So I love that also. does have a bicep swivel, double jointed elbows, even though these do kind of get in the way, but that's to be expected. These actually are a separate piece. So as you see, they do kind of hinge up and down. It doesn't help with articulation much, but I do dig the fact that they did that. I had him a little too close to the camera. He's out of focus. But yeah, that works very well. And it also helps with the movement of his hand. As you guys can see, you really don't get much hindrance in there at all. So great job with that. When it comes to the diaphragm joint, he leans back about that much. Obviously, you're going to get some gapping. That's to be expected. But I love that he still moves. Sadly, not much moving forward at the diaphragm. You do get really good rocker. But be careful. I feel like this paint will chip if you move it too much. But when it comes to the mid torso or the lower torso, the waist basically, as you can see, that helps him crunch forward a little bit more, and then he crunches back or leans back all the way. So that's really good. He does have a slight, actually no swivel at the waist, so that's a little bit disappointing. I really wish they would get more consistent with these waist swivels, man. Tamashii, y'all have got to do better about that. Like, we're damn near moving backwards at this point, not having a waist swivel on a figure. So come on. Anyway, kicking forward, he kicks all the way forward, he kicks all the way back, he kicks all the way out. He does have a thigh swivel, double jointed knees, as he should have, that actually look decent. Not the best looking, but I felt like I feel like they worked with it the best that they could. He does have a swivel right here at the boot. Glad they included that. Really good ankle rocker. Foot goes down about that much. Up. Once you move it, you do have to slide this piece in order to get the foot to move how you want, but it does work. And then he does have a toe hinge. So articulation wise, for the most part, you're going to be able to get this figure to do whatever you want it to do. Sadly, the waist and the neck are where you're going to run into the most limitation with this figure. Now, when it comes to accessories, I feel like you get a fair amount for the price point of this figure. As you guys can see, he comes right out of the packaging with a neutral expression and a pair of fist hands. He does also come with 4 other face plates, which are cool. I do wish they were a little more diverse, though. He does come with this kind of teeth grinning face. This is when he's excited, feeling confident. Obviously, he's got a plan for winning the battle, so I dig this one. He comes with another one where he is excited as well. Basically, this is him really going all in battle, but this other faceplate kind of looks the same. Now, this is more of an angry yelling face, but as you guys can see, they do look almost identical. Obviously, this one has the cracks in the eyes and everything, but the only real difference other than the eyes are that the mouth is a little more slanted on the excited face. So I do wish we would have gotten a bit of a different expression for that one. But then he does also come with a face plate where he doesn't have the mask on. And here is the interchangeable hairpiece for that. So that's really cool. He does come with the little explosions that peg onto the back of his mask. So love that they included that. He has several sets of hands, including a pair of reaching stylish pose hands, a pair of wide open palms or finger spread hands. And then he does come with a pair of hands for holding on to these little explosions that he comes with, and I'm so happy they included these. And basically all you do is peg them into the hands like so, and then there you go. So really happy that they included those. Again, I feel like he came with enough accessories, but he does come with more, and of course I'm going to cover all the rest of those accessories in a separate video, as I said earlier. Now, since Bakugo's arms stick out about a mile, I had to limit how many figures I put in the frame. So what I'll do instead is give you guys 4 sets of comparisons instead of 3. But first off, here he is standing next to the SH Figuarts My Hero Academia Deku and the SH Figuarts Demon Slayer Tanjiro Kamado. Here he is standing next to the SH Figuarts Yu Yu Hakusho Yusuke Urameshi and the SH Figuarts Dragon Ball Z Old Battle Style Armor Vegeta. Here he is standing next to an SH Figuarts Naruto Kid Sasuke Uchiha, and then we've also got him standing next to an SH Figuarts Jujutsu Kaisen Greatness Megami Fushiguro. Lastly, here he is standing next to a Metacom toy comic book Daredevil and a Hasbro Marvel Legends Amazing Fantasy Spider-Man. Now, when it comes to my final thoughts on this figure, I'm going to go ahead and answer the question that I know you guys are asking. Is this better than Kyoto Revoltech? And in my personal opinion, I'm going to say they pretty much one and the same. They both come with problems. And this one, in my opinion, I feel like is the worser of the two because they should have known that some of these mistakes could have been corrected just by proper engineering. For one, no waist swivel. That is an automatic disappointment for me. I don't know why they didn't just do it as a double ball peg or extend the ball peg so that the waist would work a little bit better. Another issue I have that I already expressed to you guys is the movement at the neck. Now, while I was reviewing this figure, I saw that the neck was an issue, but when I started posing it around, trying to get some final shots for this figure, that's when I realized how much of a problem it was. Parts kept falling off. They kept just hitting the floor, and I kept having to look for them. It was actually pretty annoying, and it really could have been an issue that they solved just by extending the neck peg, or again, like I said, including another collar piece. That would have made this so much more simple. The last issue I have with this guy is the interchangeability of the hands. Why they didn't follow Revoltech and just make it to where that they were hinges instead of ball pegs, that would have made this so much more simpler. The hands are really difficult to put on, especially if you're trying to utilize the gauntlets. It's just some problems that this figure didn't necessarily have to have. Now, that's not saying it's a bad figure, but I'm also not going to say that it's great either. There are some things that could have been better, and I made sure to discuss all of those. But if you guys are planning on getting this, I will say it's cool. Just make sure you understand the problems that it comes with. Therefore, once you do get it in hand, you pretty much know what to expect. But overall, I hope that you guys enjoyed this review. If so, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, as that always helps me out. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Make sure you hit that bell icon so you're notified whenever I upload new content. And last but not least, follow me on everything you see listed in the description below to keep all of my activity outside of YouTube. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Stay safe wherever you are, and bye.